Welcome back to digital photography class. In this one, we're going to learn all about macro modes. Well, what are macro modes? Well, macro modes are utilizing certain lenses and shooting very close up. We can see by the lenses down the bottom there, they're very specialized lenses that we use for this kind of work here. It's like a magnifying glass almost. And they are designed for superb results, when you are shooting close-ups, better than the zoom lens macro mode. And if you want that life-size magnification, then traditionally you're going to use a macro mode setting and ideally a proper lens to go along with it. The depth of fields are often very shallow, so in other words, the background is knocked out, blurred out, and we get a lot of detail in the fine image that we're shooting, the small image. Well, you might remember, as kids discovering a whole new world, when we were crawling around the grass, we're in a different world altogether, when we could see things close up and we were very close to the ground as well. Well, these days we may not quite be lying on our backyards unless we're playing with the kids, but you can still get down and explore a very unique world that you can only find when you get down low and you start shooting with a macro mode type of a camera, and you'll be very rewarded with the type of images that you can take with a macro mode setting. Now it's quite simple. The most important question is to ask when you're shooting macro mode. You look through the lens and what message do I want to deliver through the picture that I'm taking here. Identify the primary point of interest before taking a picture, and when you've determined which area is the most important to you, then you can compose it in such a way, get all your gear set up. It's a little harder when you're shooting a dragonfly. You've got to be pretty quick unless you've propped it up there. But quite often in macro mode, you may get maybe a small tripod that you can set the camera on to make sure there's absolutely no vibration. You might even put it on a timed exposure to ensure no vibration by pressing the button down. Contrast. Look for ways of contrast. Here's a picture that I took down in Jamaica, and it's the Nomi plant. And here you can see the ants are crawling around it. And the light will have a very dramatic effect against a dark background when you combine these two together. So contrasting colors can often be used for emphasis, but it can become distracting if we're not too careful on that. Viewpoint. You can often change a picture dramatically by moving the camera up or down slightly, stepping to one side or the other. And it's one of the best ways to come up with these prize-winning photographs, just to find some unusual point of view where we can highlight some small piece of God's creation through the macro lens. While generally asymmetric or informal balance is considered more pleasing in a photograph than a symmetrical. If it's too balanced, in other words, it may look kind of bland. So in this case with the ladybug, you can see it's actually placed down to approximately a third, so you're using the rule of thirds in this particular case as well, and it makes it a very interesting photograph because of that. Well, with these few tips in mind, and your macro mode setting on your camera, or those that are lucky enough to have a macro mode lens, let's go out and shoot and have some fun.